What's up, guys? This is Shae.
And I'm Matt, and this is the Building Small Business Podcast. And today we're here with a couple fellas that have started what we think is an awesome business, Sagar and Ameet. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
How are you all? So tell us what y'all are doing here.
Yeah, so this is our first location of Crumbl Cookies. We're opening pretty soon, getting the store ready. So we'll sell 6 cookies every week. 2, the chocolate chip and sugar, stay on the menu, and the other 4 rotate on a weekly basis.
Yeah, it keeps people coming back. I mean, one week you might hate all the flavors, and one week you'll love all 4 of them. And you'll I mean, if you're like us, you'll love every single week, and you'll just have to come back and visit.
Awesome. So when are y'all going to get open?
Yeah, so we'll be opening Wednesday the 19th as our soft opening, and then Friday, May 21st is our free cookie day. So if you come in, you get a free cookie on the 21st. Pretty good deal.
Be sure to come out.
So that's when I'll be here.
Yeah. I was planning on coming by the 19th, but now that you guys have told me, I'll probably just
now that I mentioned
there will be a long line. So pick and choose.
Let's get my VIP pass. So cut to the front.
So how'd y'all get started with Crumbl Cookies?
Yeah, so Ameet and I have been friends for 10 years, and we both have a pretty entrepreneurial mindset. So during the pandemic, things just kind of start brewing. So about a year and a half ago, we had Crumbl in Tennessee, but I didn't know they franchised. Ameet found out they franchise, and he called me and was like, "Hey, we should look into this." And so here we are a year later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys had so much free time during the pandemic that you were like, "What can I do that's really hard to do right now?"
Yeah, well, I mean,
and sell things to people.
Yeah, the pandemic really made us think differently about what we normally do, and so we were like, this could be our chance to kind of pivot in the right direction and maybe kind of capitalize on some of these things and enter a business that we both love. We're both foodies at heart, so I mean, this just kind of fell naturally to us.
Yeah, it was a good mix of products that we like and business, and then also just working together, trying something new. And kind of taking the risk. So
I love that. So you guys said you're foodies. Do you have like a specific dish that's like you can crush it every time you make it?
Oh, make it. I don't know about make it.
Oh, you just like eating food.
We just love eating. Yeah,
I got you.
I don't know about
There's
making.
specific dishes that I could crush if they're in front of me, for sure, but not crush making it.
I hear you.
So is this your all's first business that you'll own, or have you all owned businesses in the past?
Yeah, so both of us come from a pretty entrepreneurial family. Both of us come from hotel background. Grew up in hotels, learning how to operate, manage. I started an entertainment company solely for a passion as a hobby.
Okay.
But this is our first food product that we're doing, for sure. Yeah.
This will be our first entrant into the food and beverage space. And just like him, my background is hospitality as well. Grew up in hotels all my life. Did a little stint in public accounting for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Traveled a lot. Ate a lot of food, gained a lot of weight, and I just realized it wasn't for me. And then I kind of went back to small business and helped out our family business grow, just from X amount of hotels to Y.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we're doing day to day. And then this is kind of recently taken up a large chunk of our time. But we're excited to get this bad boy open. We're ready.
You're getting close.
Heck yeah! How many? If you had to guess, like how many hours do you think you'll spend here in the first year of operation? Per week.
Quite a bit.
How many hours? So we're open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and on the weekends until midnight. So that in itself is basically always open.
Yeah. And
a lot.
And corporate has a good expectation of their owners to be hands-on. Like they want us to have skin in the game too.
Good.
So that's what's going to make for a good store, especially in their eyes and just for us in general. So starting out from week 0 to probably even the first couple months, we'll probably be here both on
At
average.
any given time, one of us will be here, for sure.
So from 10 to 12 hours a day, no questions asked. And then after that, hopefully, we'll start to promote from within and we can kind of go on about maybe store number 2. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
So you all are probably going to eat a lot of cookies the first couple months you're here working.
Yeah, so during our diligence phase, we definitely did a lot of taste testing.
Yeah.
So I had my fair
market
share
research.
of cookies. Yeah. And everyone's like, why are you eating Crumbl every week? And we're like, just doing our research, making sure we love these cookies.
Product development.
Yeah.
If you ever need testers, I'm available for hire anytime.
We'll keep that in mind.
For sure. We'll keep that in mind.
So can you guys shed a little bit of light, and you don't have to talk a ton about what Crumbl does on the back end, but is there a certain process, like you call some random helpline or something, and they're just like, hey, start a franchise tomorrow? What do you have to do? I mean, don't feel free, do not get into the specifics, but a little bit about that process.
Okay, so I'll start it. It's it's a general franchisor business model. But for us, one of the things that we looked at was Crumbl's a new brand, and obviously they're scaling very fast. We wanted to make sure the longevity was there, right? So for us in that process, we're like, what are they looking at in us, and what are we looking at in them? And so that lasted like 5 months, right?
Yeah, it took us a while because not only were we talking to them, simultaneously we're talking to other franchisees.
Mm-hmm. Making sure, yeah.
And we were kicking the tires on them just as much as I'm sure they were kicking the tires on us. So we talked to people with just one store. We talked to people with 10 stores. We talked to people with over 100 food and beverage outlets that also happen to have a good chunk of portfolio that was just strictly Crumbl. So, I mean, we did our homework, and it took probably a little bit longer than we should, but we wanted to make sure that what we were getting into is a viable option and had legs. I mean, obviously, it's stuff with the franchise. We loved everyone that we met at the franchise and just interviews and stuff like that. We have nothing but great things to say. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing right by them and they're doing right by us.
So how many stores do they have? Is it all in the U.S. right now?
All in the U.S.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
all in the U.S. And, there a little birdie told us recently that we're actually going to unofficially be store number 200.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, regardless if it's official or not, we're gonna just that's
run
yours.
with it.
Yeah. It's multiple stores opening that day, so we told them we'll be store 200.
Yeah, we called dibs.
we called ourselves
Yeah, we
store
called dibs.
200. So yeah.
And when we put this out, this is store 200. We're just the public will know it as store 200.
There you go.
So do you all, how do you all plan on advertising the business? Does Crumbl provide opportunities for you all to do that, or do you all reach out to local companies, social media, run your own social media or anything like that?
Yeah, so it's a mix of both of those. Crumbl at a high level runs the social media accounts, so Instagram, TikTok. They're super popular on TikTok. It's all run by corporate, and then we'll run our Facebook page, our Yelp, our Google. So that's the social media, and then advertising as well. They do some in the general area, but we are also doing a local advertising marketing campaign, reaching out to influencers, reaching out to local people that we want to bring into the store and get them some cookies. So it's a mix of both. Yeah.
That helps a ton. Do you have some creativity over it to put it out there?
We've got some leeway, but a lot of stuff is kind of controlled at the corporate level, which I mean it's understandable, right? They want to make sure the brand identity is there and protected.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can see why they would want to control at least a little bit of the outward going image of the brand.
I prefer it because it's consistent, right? It's 200 stores. Imagine 200 marketing campaigns going out, and some cities have multiple Crumbles.
Everything's going to be different.
Everyone's doing different things. This way, it's all concise. It's all approved materials that are being posted, and the content's phenomenal.
I love that. So I guess to talk about kind of the back end stuff, have either of you done hiring at this level? Do they kind of help you with personality assessments, or do they have any back end support, or is it hey, you got to vet these people and you have to make sure they're who you want on the front end and on the back end?
Yeah, I think it's kind of left up to us because at the end of the day, it's our store, and every store is going to have a different personality. Just like our hotels, every hotel we walk into, they each have their own different personality. They're all ran by a different person, a manager, but each manager is going to have a different way they're going to run things, right? So same thing for us. We wanted to create a fun environment to where people enjoy coming to work, because at the end of the day, we're making cookies, right? It's gonna be a fun thing to do day in and day out. It's just a matter of having the right attitude. We'll train you on everything. Just come in with a smile, and we'll take it from there.
So you all have a pretty diverse background in business, obviously. What's your favorite part about being entrepreneurs, business owners, and so on?
Yeah. That's tough. For me, it's kind of mixing your passion, for what you want to do with business as well. So this for us, Crumbl, owning a dessert store was a forever dream of mine. And so, we're spending numerous hours here every day, but none of it to me. I don't wake up and I'm like, oh, I have to go to the store today. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm one day closer to selling cookies. Let's go.
That's awesome.
And I think it's that pride in owning this being ours. We built this, but that along with being passionate about what you're doing. For me, I could be a business owner, but if I didn't care about the product or whatever it may be, no matter how much revenue it's generating, it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to be selling a fantastic product. Like this guy is, if you know him, he knows everything about desserts. Like he's been to all the cities around the world, and he's had his fair share of desserts. How he doesn't have diabetes right now is beyond me. But but whenever he said this might have been like the best, if not one of the best cookies that he's ever had, then I was like, we've got to do something about it.
Now you got me really excited.
I know, man.
Not to hype it. Everyone is always like, why are you hyping it up so much? I'm like, to be fair, I was a loyal Crumbl fan well before I even knew they franchised, much less decided to open my own franchise. I was posting Crumbl on Instagram well before we decided to open our store. So
did you go to the original one?
We did not. We went to one in Murfreesboro. So the story is we went to his wife's place for Thanksgiving in Tennessee. And on our way out, she's like, Sagar, we got this cookie place. You have to try it before you leave. And so we went to the Crumbl there, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. What a great local cookie place. I had never heard of it. I assumed it was local. And then about 4 months later, Ameet, I guess, was just Googling and came across franchise opportunity. So, yeah.
Love it.
So when were you in Tennessee? Like the timeline is
it was 2 years ago,
November 2019.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago for Thanksgiving holidays.
So that happened, and then roll around to the calendar year 2020.
Then a little pandemic happened.
Shit hit the fan.
Yeah. Yeah, shit hit the fan.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And then you guys decided to
this was the silver lining in that, having the time to think of this and brainstorm it. Now, I joke and I say this was our quarantine project. So
it's a pretty big project.
Yeah, it's a pretty big quarantine project. Took about the whole quarantine, but here we are.
I love that it's less than 2 years. You're not even at the 2 year mark, and it's discovery and exploration. You guys did that work on the front end, which that in and of itself takes vetting the business. Yeah.
Crumbl itself grew like literally tenfold in the time, right?
Yeah.
I think all of 2019, I want to say they had 19 stores?
At the end of 2019, when we first got the original copy of the franchise disclosure document, I think they had officially 14 stores
14
as of the FDD.
The calendar year. Yeah.
And then unofficially they had like 19, and then now we're going to be 200.
That's crazy.
What do you think they did during the COVID and everything to excel where a lot of places failed?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll tell you why. I guess some of the reasons that we like Crumbl, and the reason I think that they are scaling rapidly but growing well with it is first and foremost, the product is phenomenal, right? There is no gourmet cookie like chain or franchise or something. Second is their marketing is on point. If you've ever been on any of their social media. And the third is like customer service and consistency across every store. You know, everything looks the same, and the way you're treated as soon as you walk in the door is the same. And so that's why I think they've been able to scale. I don't know your thoughts.
I think the proof is in the pudding. When we asked about their franchisees, their number one answer was, our growth comes from repeat franchisees.
Yeah.
So that kind of speaks for itself.
So they want you all to keep opening further stores if you're successful with yours?
Yeah.
That's right.
And they don't even look at just dollars, right? They look at cookie quality. They look at customer service scores. They look at those other metrics probably just as much as they do the dollar amounts. Because at the end of the day, they want to grow. Sure, I mean, everyone wants to grow fast, but they also want to control their growth and make sure that they're aligning themselves with a great franchise partnership, you know?
Absolutely.
It's really smart. Like I don't know how many other franchises work, but I'm assuming that there's some that are just like
scale.
Some will be like, just send the check in and we'll give you the contract right now.
Yeah. We came across some of those. So in our homework process, you know, I'm not going to name names, but there were a ton in the food space. We were like, let's see, you know, let's try to get a franchise. Let's see what it takes. And like the second call, they're like, all right, what city do you want? We're ready. And we're like, what? You don't even know us. How are you ready to become partners, right? Because that's what it is. The way I look at the franchisor business model is that we're partners, right? They want us to be successful, and we obviously want them to be successful, and you grow together. But to kind of become a partnership, you need to do some diligence, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Or you should at least, and not
you
just
should. Right,
you should
hand the keys over to somebody that has.
I was like, I'm honored, but you don't know me. So yeah,
it's a nightmare waiting to happen. Like just all the bad things that could happen to giving some random person the ability to run a business for you.
Right,
that's right.
It's crazy.
So are you all the first one in Kentucky, or are there any more?
We would have been, But I mean, it was just kind of out of our hands.
I say fortunately.
Fortunately, yeah. But selfishly, you know, we're the second.
Louisville,
Louisville beat us to the punch, and the only reason they did is I think we started kind of at the same time, but this was actually a much bigger space. So the landlord actually had to devise the space out first before we actually came in and did the rest of the outfit. Yeah. So that took a lot of time, unexpected time on our end, on our time frame. But I mean, in comparison to other Crumbl stores, you know, we beat their timeline by 60 days, 60 to 90 days.
Yeah.
What would you attribute that to? Like previous knowledge of the right trades or the right skills? I mean, not skills, but
skill sets.
People that. All right, so you guys have experience in a hotel, so you probably
Correct.
know framers, drywall, electric.
That's right.
I mean, how many different times has that happened?
Yeah, no,
you know, that seems like
it definitely helped. It definitely helped. We wouldn't have been able to do it without that experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how does this? Will you all just be doing walk-in traffic, or do you all offer like delivery or anything?
Yeah, so all of it. So we do delivery through DoorDash. Mm-hmm. We'll have curbside pickup and then walk-in as well. So all of it, yeah. And we do ordering on the app, or you can walk in and order on one of the iPads, or you can come to the desk and get help. Yeah.
What would be the advantage of using that versus over here?
No real advantage. Maybe quicker. You just walk
Right.
in if you know what you want. 4-pack. I want these 4 cookies. You pay, and you know our goal is to get them out to you fast. But they come from the warmers, so that they are warm cookies when you get them, or they could be chilled cookies and they come from the fridge, depending on which cookie you get.
Our goal will always try to get you served as quick as possible. But you know, keep in mind these are baked fresh in store, sometimes right then and there.
Yeah.
So they'll be. We're going to try to avoid it, but there'll be times where, you know, we're out of chocolate chip cookies, but you'll see us busting buck, you know, back here trying to make those cookies, back, you know, out of the oven, trying to get them out of the oven and into the warmers and back into your box. So,
yeah,
you know, it's a great product, and it takes a lot of, you know, I guess, care and just precision to get it right. If they come out of the oven and they don't look like the Crumbl cookies, then we're not serving it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a break, and here's a word from today's sponsor. This
podcast has been brought to you by Crumbl Cookies in Hamburg. Come out Friday, May 21st for your own free cookie.
All right, we're back. I want to talk about how you all chose Lexington as your market, even more specifically Hamburg, where you opened the store at. So was there a process to choosing that?
Yeah, so we wanted to be pretty close to the store. I mean, obviously, he's all over the place. I practically live in my car, depending on what day it is.
Same.
So we wanted to be somewhere that we're going to be close by. Obviously, I moved here last August, so I'm not even a mile and a half away. And it also helps with the franchise because they wanted to make sure that we're close by as well. Because, again, they want skin equity as well. But I mean, yeah, other than that, you know, the location kind of speaks for itself. We're in the heart of Hamburg, you know, the demographics are just, you know, support something like this, you know, unbelievably. We're surrounded by a bunch of anchors such as, you know, Meijer, Target, all these big box stores that are right behind us, Best Buy, Ulta, you know, all those guys, even Costco, which is one street over, was a huge draw, especially for corporate. So I mean, yeah, we're in the bustling part of Hamburg. So you know, we're right off the main drag here, Sir Barton Road. So you know, we're easily visible from the main road. And even if you're just passing by, you're gonna be like, oh, what that wasn't here, you know, last week. You know, let's stop by and grab some. I'll just try them out. But I mean, we just thought it was a home run of a location from day one. We looked at all over Lexington, and this just kind of came up last minute, and we're like, this is it. Like, there's no other questions about it.
I think it's a perfect spot.
It is, yeah. I mean, the highway being right here too. You're going to get some people from out of town that are heading back to where they're going and grab some cookies.
And being in where Ameet lives in Hamburg, so being in the community obviously helps, right? This is our neighborhood, so
yeah, I love it.
If this works, do you all plan to try to open more stores?
Hopefully, yeah, that's the goal.
Would you do more in Lexington, or would you start looking at other markets? Or do you think Lexington can hold more of them?
Yeah, depending on that. That's depends on what time of the day you ask us.
To be determined.
Yeah.
I think it could support like, and this is just out of pure guessing, but like south side of town and the growth it's seen.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know what analytics they run before they allow you to open one, but that would seem like a decent place. Like not in the Summit because of the price of the leases there, but near it or something.
Yeah.
There's something I'm curious about. So you guys said that you have rotating flavors or whatever you want to call it, rotating ingredients.
Right.
The staples were, correct me if I'm wrong, chocolate chip and then sugar cookie.
Chilled sugar cookie. That's
Chilled
right.
sugar cookie. Okay. So those are here every time you walk in the door.
That's
and then
right.
these other rotating ones, how many other ones are there?
So for rotate, I want to say they're up to 140 or 150 cookies now.
And they've just recently started like listening to the audience, like listening to the customers. So like they're adding 20 new flavors on top of that, based off of the feedback that they've gotten from consumers like us.
Oh, you should try this cookie.
So how long? I mean, that's going to take you. There's only 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you do the math, if there's a cookie you love, you might not see that again for maybe 8 months to a year.
That's crazy.
But it's a rotating menu, right? So maybe if I don't know, I want to say like if there's a mint chocolate chip cookie or some midnight mint is what it's called. That's maybe a more popular specialty cookie, so it might come back within 2 months or 3 months. But then if there's like a brand new one, you might not see that. There's some cookies I've only seen once, and
right.
I've been.
I think the rule of thumb is if you want to try a cookie and you want it to come back, buy it.
Yeah.
And or go that week. If you see it, you better go that week because there's some of my favorites I've only seen once or twice.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
So do they on a back end like logistics thing? Do they give you a weekly delivery and that's the flavor? Like they literally just come in like a truck and they're like, "Hey, bro, here's your this is your flavor."
Well, we bake them from scratch, right? So they tell us the ingredients that we'll need weeks in advance. So we know what the next cookies are, so we can start sourcing the ingredients we need.
Right. It's honestly not that much, time lag of when the general consumer finds out. So we're kind of in the same boat. But I mean, we're given a little bit of time just to make do.
Right.
But it just kind of keeps everyone on their toes, and that's the fun part about it.
Keeps us excited.
Yeah, it keeps us excited, definitely. And then even our employees are like, making chocolate chip cookies every week will kind of get boring. Yeah. But I mean, if you throw in like an Oreo cookie or a waffle cookie or a cornbread cookie, that was a huge hit. That
sounds weird, but
you said cornbread.
I had the same expression, and then Ameet texted me and was like, "You need to go try this cookie." This was I want to say last fall, so I went and had phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to try that one.
Like even this week, there's a waffle cookie. Yeah, phenomenal. I've had that one as well.
I really am.
I'm going to be here way too much.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, shit. Should I buy stock in this place?
So coming from someone who now you went through the franchise process, what's a piece of advice you'd offer someone if they wanted to go into just a franchise in general, not necessarily Crumbl, say it's McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever, that they should do starting out?
I would start with pair yourself up with a franchise or a brand that's got longevity. There's too many brands and too many franchises nowadays that they'll do well in the short run, but you want something that's got legs. Whether you plan on keeping the business is a different story, but you want something that's going to be timeless and it's going to be a proven product for years to come.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, and I would say be yourself in the franchise process. If you don't try to say what they want to hear, or just don't make the end goal getting approved for a franchise by doing whatever you have to do, because the reality is you're entering a partnership and it's a long-term partnership. So maybe you do fake it and get the franchise, but now you just don't mesh. Maybe your values don't match up. Maybe, you don't have the same vision for the brand. So for us, like the whole time we're going to be who we are, tell them our story, tell them what we're looking to do, and tell them why we want to open this. And if they approve it, then great. It's great. Like this is going to work. But if they're like, hey, we're really looking for someone that's doing this, and if that's not us, we get it. But it's good to know that from day one, right?
That's awesome.
Because if you try to fake it, then it's just going to make for a bumpier ride.
Yeah, you might get approved. With some franchises, you might get approved, but guess what? That's just the start of it, getting approved, right? This whole process. I mean, we talk to corporate. I feel like every couple hours right now. Like, hey, this happened. We need advice on this. We need help on this, and they love it. They're here for us. But it takes a while to get there.
Well, you brought up values. We talk all the time in our business. Like anytime you start one, you need to write down the core values of why you're doing it with everybody involved to make sure you all are always on the same page. And it's cool that you did that even with corporate and made sure like you were interviewing them just as much as they were interviewing you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It always comes back like it's starting a business, right? Like there's many reasons you can do it, and it just never be driven solely by profit.
Right.
If it's driven by profit, if that's your only focus and your only goal, then you're likely not going to be fulfilled, or you're going to be chasing the dollar, and that makes you not a good customer service business. Like,
100%. Yeah. Like I said earlier, yeah, we could probably sit down right now and name you 10 businesses where we could make more profit. But why are we opening this, right? We're passionate about it. We like it, and it's the fulfillment factor, right? And there's businesses that'll make you profit, but if you aren't passionate about it, you won't be fulfilled by it. So, yeah.
I feel like that's a good spot to kind of tie on the ending here. Do you have something that you took away?
Yeah. So my main takeaway from the main part of this is how much you hyped on the actual product. Like you have a business now because you went and ate a cookie that you liked. And I love that you did that, and focusing on that product and making it the best you can, your customers are just going to gravitate towards that.
Yeah, I had someone ask me last weekend. He just looked at me. He was like, "Sell me onto Crumbl Cookies." And truth be told, that's the first time I've even heard that. I didn't know what to say for a second. I was just kind of taken back. I was like, "Well, have you had a cookie?" And like, the cookie will sell itself, right? So yeah, I think the product lives up to the hype, and obviously we put our money where our mouth is on it.
Right.
So
it's this franchise, this brand has had us ever since we had the product, and ever since I found out that they actually franchise, I was like, Kentucky. I was like, they don't have any representation in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's take the state by storm, starting with Lexington. And luckily we've established a good relationship with the owners of the Louisville store, and as he said earlier, it's kind of been a blessing in disguise that they opened first, because we've just kind of been bouncing off of each other back and forth.
They've helped a lot.
Yeah. We would be lost probably without the late night texts or the early morning calls to them and so on and so forth. But it's Kentucky's doing well, and we're hoping to obviously do this do the same here, and probably. Who knows?
Few more. Yeah.
They're like, wait till the next pandemic and we'll start 5 more of these damn things. That's awesome.
No. We don't need a pandemic to start a business.
I'm saying, they're like,
where's the new variant?
So I think my takeaway would be it's passion, right? Like, so to piggyback off what he said, he was talking about how you guys believe in the product because it tastes so damn good. Well, that's good. But if you're not passionate about coming in every day and running a business, like you said, when you think about coming in here, you don't think about it as work. You're like excited.
Yeah.
Part of that comes with just getting close to the opening, but the other part of it is you believe in the product and you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Right. Yeah, 100%. If you don't love cookies, don't go open a cookie store. If you don't love coffee, don't go open a coffee store, right? I mean, we see it happen time after time. Someone's like, "Oh, the numbers are great. I'm going to go open this." I'm like, "You don't even like the product. Like, well, how are you going to sell someone onto something you don't like?" So yeah, passion for sure. And for me, it's not hard to be passionate about cookies. So
sweet.
You want to go to the burning questions?
Yeah, man.
Awesome. We got 5 questions we ask everybody if I don't fall out of the chair while I pull them up here. Let's start with number 1. What's one thing when starting your business you would change or do differently?
You can go first.
We're both numbers guys. I would say give yourself a bigger margin of error, maybe like just have a bigger contingency, because especially on the construction side of things, the price of wood has gone up ridiculous. Labor's starting to go up a little bit. Metal has definitely gone up. So I mean, everything's just going up just because of supply and demand. So just give yourself a good cushion.
For me, it's so we learned this through the process, but location, be very picky on location and spend as much as time as you need to wait till a location opens up. Don't sacrifice and say, hey, we'll just open shop here. Hopefully people will come around to this side of town or this side of the development. Wait for the right location and do the diligence, right? Because if you're not in the right location, no matter what you're selling, it's not selling, right?
Yeah, because I mean, even just to hit on that, I mean. We we're probably
waited a long time.
Yeah, we waited a long time to sign a location, but we were probably like a week away from signing a different location, and then this just popped up last minute. So we were just like,
Yeah.
it was a signal from above.
When you all were looking for a location, did it kind of keep you at standstill on how far you could progress with the business until you actually had a physical spot?
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we got to the point where franchise said, all right, send us your location. And it took us months, I think. Because for me, it was, think about it from a customer standpoint, right? It's like, all right, if it's, a specialty, if it's something else, you'll drive across town. If it's a doctor's appointment, whatever. If it's a cookie, it's like, if you're running an errand or running to Target, we're like,
convenience.
am I really going to detour 10 minutes to go grab a cookie and then 10 minutes back to get on the road? So thinking of it from a customer standpoint, we're like, we need to wait if we need to wait, but we need the right location.
I think you picked a good one.
Yeah. I like you were saying like margin of error in these times, like we don't know what stuff's going to cost a week or 15 days from now. Right. So give yourself some room on there. And then, the other question, next question, number 2 would be, what are your hobbies? Do you have any hobbies outside of running a business?
Right now it's sleep. There's not a lot of that happening, but right now it's sleep. But once we get back to normal, every Sunday, me and all my guys, we play basketball for like 3-4 hours. So that's a good kind of reset to the week. Other than that, just spending time with my wife. She's
good
funny.
answer.
Yeah, right. Don't tell her this, but she's actually kind of funny. So I'll always like just messing with her and just aggravating her and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, just hanging out with my friends and just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so same for me, basketball, hanging out, and I'm a big music guy, so I love listening to music and, trying new speakers or listening to a new album, whatever it may be, so yeah.
Awesome. Number 3 is, you all said you were foodies, so what's your favorite restaurant? Let's see if we can keep it local to Lexington if you can.
Oh, local?
Oh, yeah. Local, so
let's do this
that's a curveball.
Okay, let's do twofold. Let's do one that's local.
Okay.
And then we know you guys are been around some different areas. So I guess like.
Well, I'll give you my most basic answer. Chipotle.
He's a big Chipotle guy.
I practically lived off of Chipotle and Jimmy John's in college, and it's probably no different now. My local answer would probably be Dad's Deli.
Okay.
That's a new one.
We had it for lunch.
Yeah, I scarfed it down while you guys were setting up. I'm trying to think of what else, but I mean, Dad's Deli is always my go-to, especially when someone new comes in from out of town. And they're only open for a certain number of hours, right, from 11 to 3. So I'm just like, okay, we'll just drop what we're doing and we'll kind of make our schedule around Dad's.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, local, I love Goodfellas. Their
Same.
pizza. I sent it to Ameet, I think, multiple times before. I had seen it on like the Barstool guys pizza review. It's like, I need to go to this place, and I've been multiple times since I moved here. And then overall, I think Thai food. New York has a lot of Thai restaurants that I'm obsessed with. So Up Thai is probably my favorite. Yeah.
I need to try Thai food. I'm not sure if I've ever even had it, to be honest with you.
I only got into it a few years ago, and now it's like, I need Thai food. I crave it. Yeah, it's good.
Shae lives off like chicken nuggets. And
I had chicken nuggets for lunch.
Chicken nuggets.
I was completely joking. Oh, man,
I keep McDonald's in business.
Jesus.
Yeah. We need to go have dinner at a Thai restaurant one day.
Yeah, let us know. We'll do that.
You like it. It's good.
Culturize me a little bit.
Question number 4. What is a music, let's just say musical artist that someone might not expect you would listen to?
Oh, wow.
All my friends make fun of me just because I listen to Drake like 24/7. But an answer that but an unexpected answer would probably be J. Cole. I'm a big J. Cole fan.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a very, very rap heavy genre.
For me, yeah, I would say so. But I mean, again, hanging out with the wife a lot, she's kind of got me a little bit more cultured and just, expanding my horizons on the music front. But
I gotcha.
But as of right now, yeah.
Yeah, now I feel like it's a okay answer, but like 10 years ago, people were like, what? I'm a huge Justin Bieber fan.
Same.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like after the Purpose album and he went like proper mainstream, everyone's listening to it. They're like, oh yeah, it's a pop artist, whatever. But I was like since high school Justin Bieber fan,
Yeah,
like
you were.
day one.
His Christmas album's the best Christmas
album, phenomenal.
Christmas time, it's like NSYNC and that.
Yeah.
Oh, I get a little bit of Mariah Carey, and that's pretty much all you get.
So funny story. He actually dropped a music video today. Justin Bieber and DJ Khaled, and Crumbl's in the video.
Oh,
So
sweet!
No kidding.
check it out. Yeah, post it on Instagram.
We're gonna include that in B-roll for
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. They just dropped the music video at noon. I
That's
was watching
awesome.
it, and there's a box of Crumbl Cookies in the video.
Hell yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Great.
check it out.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
All right, last one. What's your favorite business book you'd recommend to someone? Do you read?
I do some.
The two that stick out to me the most, one I read kind of early on as a freshman in college was The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, I believe. It just kind of taught me to not have emotions tied to money. Money is important, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day in business, we're going to do whatever we can to make it work. But at the same time, if it doesn't work, you've learned something at the end of the day. You've learned what not to do. Another one is, I read this when I was studying abroad, is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I know that's probably a really basic answer, but that really helped me kind of establish what it took to do things in the most efficient and effective manner, whether it was dealing with people, dealing with tasks. And it just kind of had this paradigm shift on me. Like, I know that's very cliche, but when you're studying abroad by yourself and reading a book, I don't know, something's happened. But no, those 2 books stand out to me more so than the others.
For me, I don't know if I have a favorite, but a book I recently read that made me really think a lot when opening Crumbl was Pour Your Heart Into It, and it's the Starbucks story. So the guy that basically, he didn't found Starbucks, but he scaled Starbucks from day one when they were like just a couple stores. But kind of he walks through why they were able to scale, why there's a Starbucks on every corner now, and like from a customer standpoint, from an employee standpoint, they obviously hit the nail on the head with everything. So that's a really good book if you're looking to get into franchising or getting into, scaling a business. So yeah, I would recommend that.
Love it.
Both
We
good
got a lot
answers.
of books we need to read.
I know. It's funny, like some people will catch on their heels and they'll be like, I don't actually read.
Yeah.
So it was good that you guys actually had answers. I like what you said about the not being attached emotionally to the dollar.
Right.
I had a real estate coach when I first started that said, and it was so hard for me to understand because I hadn't done a deal yet.
Well, I mean, everyone works so hard for their money anyways.
Right.
And it's hard to let go sometimes.
Yeah. When you get into, so like, for example, the first time that you were about to close a transaction or whatever it is as a real estate agent, just from you can either close it and make several $1,000s, or it could fall apart and you could be not making several $1,000s.
Right,
so when I first got going, I was like, damn, I need to close a deal. But she always said, don't become emotionally attached to the outcome.
Right.
Yeah.
So the outcome would be your client gets to close and be happy, and all the repairs were made. Yeah. That's a great ending, right? Well, sometimes the repairs weren't made the right way. Sometimes, so we can't be emotionally tied to the outcome of, we closed the deal or we didn't close the deal. Can't be emotionally attached to it. It's about that person. Right. It's about the client. It's about, it's more about the person than it is about the dollar at the end of the day. But that kind of 100%. Just brings me back to that.
And at the end of the day, in time, hopefully you're going to recoup that investment back. So if anything, it just teaches you patience, which going into this, I had none of.
We always said with this store that we were venturing out so much that we're like, you know what, even if we don't make money from this, or if we do lose some money, we're hopefully going to learn so much from opening a business in the food space and how to do it and how to understand the industry, customer service, that we're going to make tenfold that back eventually if we apply what we don't, we learn from it.
Not even just in the food space. Like, this is
very transferable skills.
It's a whole new business. I mean, hospitality is the same. It's going to translate well. Like, customer service is what it's all about, and how you make the customer feel. Yeah. But at the end of the day, similarly to hotels, like, we've got a product to be able to keep up and maintain. In that essence, it's the same, but with food, it's a whole new ballgame. I mean, with food, you've got people's health that you've got to be mindful of. I mean, same thing in hotels, but it's a
you've got the health department that you actually
They're ingesting it,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, especially with COVID, there's so much more heavy emphasis on cleanliness and so on and so forth, which, I mean, there always has been, but it's like now it's like
Very granular with it.
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm glad to hear that the requirements have increased.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I like it. Well, that's all we had today, guys. I appreciate you coming
Pleasure speaking
Yeah,
with you.
this
Thanks
I
for
had an
having
awesome
us.
time meeting y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Good.
should do this again. Try to come.
We'll see you
come
guys
out.
next Friday, right?
Yeah,
Or
free
Wednesday.
cookie day.
Wednesday
on. We'll
for
come
sure.
out on days
We'll
that
do
we have to
Wednesday.
pay for cookies. It's fine. What's the flavor next week?
Can you
We'll
say that?
find out Sunday on
Tune in on
Crumbl's
Sunday.
Okay.
So every Sunday evening it's posted on Crumbl's Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be, all
Everywhere.
their social media, Facebook. So
Just
Sunday, like
follow
6
at
o'clock,
Crumbl
6, 7
Cookies,
o'clock,
and that's Crumbl with no E.
Post a lineup every Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. Follow at Crumbl Cookies. Do you guys have any, you want personal Instagram page plugs? Hit it now.
Nope. The Crumbl Lexington page
There we
on
go.
Facebook. On
Yeah.
Facebook.
There you
Yeah.
go. Just
So
look
all
up
over.
Crumbl, Lexington, Kentucky.
Cool.
Awesome.
Perfect.
This was awesome, guys. We'll see you next week for sure.
Awesome. Look
Thanks.
forward to seeing you.
All right. Well, I'm Matt.
This is Shae, and it's the Building Small Business Podcast.
Now I have to start